really bad. Okay, I know I wasn't. I said I wasn't gonna come back because we're in exposure phase, but we put out that LGBTQ pride thing and 10th and all that, and there's a lot of things going on in regards to that amongst all of you. Okay, people that are watching and not saying anything and agreeing, you just as bad. But we're gonna say this, and this all we want to say is this, and this goes for those that were oppressed, particularly the African Americans that are watching this and that may think that they deserve what they get. But I want all of you to forget that the ones that are chastising the LGBTQ community, the ones that are calling them an abomination and all that, those were the same very people that thought that of African Americans. Remember this. In the past, they looked at the African Americans as less than, as animals. They hung, they tortured, they raped, pillaged, played with, as if they were animals, an abomination. You really think they don't see you that way anymore? The only reason why they can't or do anything like that is because all the laws that were put in place. But look at the actions of many out there that don't give a fuck about the law, even the cops, that will shoot you down quick. At least in the LGBTQ community, they're saying, yeah, they're abomination, but even in the Christian world, feel that they can be saved. They didn't think that of the African Americans. They didn't think you needed to be saved because you were nothing. That's how they saw you. That's how they see you now. They just can't because of the laws that are being implemented. But never forget that you were in the same position, okay? And the reason why the LGBTQ community is being chastised is because of their preference. You were chastised just for being you. Just for your color. That's it. Not because of your actions. Not because of your ideologies. None of that. It was just because you were an African American. That's it. The LGBTQ community could turn around and say, well, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. And they will be accepted. They have been reformed. You were never accepted. There was a fucking civil war because of it. You really think that you are fucking different or better than the LGBTQ community according to these fucking damn hateful, racist pigs? You're not. Do not ever forget that. You are not. Look at how you were treated. Look at how they're being treated. Both happened at the same time. But the difference is those that were found to be gay, they were taken to church. They were prayed for. They were trying to help them, to save them. You were just wanting to be destroyed. That's it. In the same era, a gay person still had more fucking damn rights, had more fucking damn sympathy than you would ever have even today. So please, do not lose focus of this. Right there, they're telling you people that you are still nothing. The only difference again is that they're moving on to another group because of laws. That's it. Because of laws. You get rid of those laws, you will be up there. And guess what's going to happen? You will probably be enslaved. You'll be whipped, killed off. And the LGBT community, they will try to reform them. You know why? Because the majority of them is what? White. They can be saved. African Americans cannot because of the mere fact of their color. That's it. Which you can never change. But to them, the LGBTQ community a member can be saved. Can change. And their skin color helps in that. So remember that. You're all fucking idiots for trying to support this. You are siding with the very people that if they got rid of the laws, they will turn around and point the fucking gun at y'all. Let's save them. Let's kill these. Remember that. Never forget that. Never fucking forget that. It is proven day in and day out how police officers are just shooting African Americans down. Shooting them down. Do you see them shooting down LGBTQ community members? No, it's the public that's doing that. But the law says African Americans, take them down. LGBTQ community, if they're white, let them be. Capture them. Let's help them. God can forgive them if they change their ways. How can you change your ways if they judge you by your color? How? You are all fucking hypocrites for you're not even to see this. I mean, you're disgusting for all of you that fucking chastise these people. So fucking what? They like to do whatever they're gonna do. But at the end of the day, guess what? They are seen as being better than an African American. That is how they see them. Even at the end of the day, you walk into a church, both an LGBTQ white male and an African male goes into the church. Ask for God's forgiveness. They're going to deviate from whatever society says they are. When they walk out together, what do they see? They don't see a gay man unless the gay man presents himself that way. But if the gay man just comes out regular and an African American comes out regular, who is now the target? Never forget that. Never ever forget that. You are below even them in their eyes. They've proven it over and over again. So you attend these little sessions, these live sessions, and you hear these fucking white racist pigs going after that group. Think of it. They see you less than. They just can't touch you. There's laws against doing that. They have to implement a law to tell them that they can discriminate against you. That is how far they had to go. So guess what? The hate just shifted. But at the end of the day, if they see a white gay man and a black regular straight guy, you know who's the target, right? I hope you fucking know who the target is. Because at the end of the day, remember, they feel that the LGBTQ plus community can be saved. They can change their ways. To them, it's a preference. To them, they're not born that way. So if you have a preference and you're not born that way, that means you can change. That means with proper guidance, you can change. Can you? Can an African American change? You remember that when you sit in a panel and that's all you hear them talking about, the LGBTQ plus community. Alright? You remember when your ancestors was whipped, hung, raped, boiled, burned, decapitated, slapped, thrown in the pile of shit. You remember that every time they speak because you are still lower than them in their eyes. You will always be lower than anyone out there. That is how they see it. So, at the end, what do you stand for? What are you going to stand up for? Okay? Just remember that. You, African Americans, in their eyes, are still lower. You cannot be saved simply because you're black. Simply because you're an African American. But to them, they can be. So that says a lot. That says a lot. So, you may be laughing on their panels, like Joe Cool, the piece of shit that surrounds himself around them, and then preaches black power, preaches equality, but does not say anything when the time comes. But at the end, Joe Cool, you are how they portray you. An African American in a car with the fucking same clothing most of the time, smoking, drinking weed, and a non-working motherfucker. That is what they see. That's all they see. A motherfucker that just has nothing in their life. In their mind, when they see that, that's why they come to the conclusion that African Americans are worthless. That's how they come to that conclusion. So do not allow that. But you have that motherfucker, Joe Cool, that allows that. At the end of the day, you all know that Joe Cool feels that, African Americans are not being suppressed by the white people. But then he surrounds himself about the very people that feel that that African Americans are separate. I mean, Liberty Bird is big on that. He don't care. He said in one comment that the N-word has been used since the 90s, and now all of a sudden you want to take ownership of it. Basically saying he don't care how you feel about it.
Yeah, here's the difference between me saying that, Rue. If I say fat up here, I'm also not saying it around a 4-year-old kid that I gave birth to.
You said fat. You said Nick.
Yeah.
What else you need to say?
I don't know. Rue's commanding me to say all these things, but the thing is, it doesn't work. It's not as effective because I'm not a parent and I'm not saying it around my kid.
Hold on. I'm a little confused now. Like, is it taboo for people to use the word nigger?
Okay, we're gonna pause right there. Now, we edited out the word, the N-word, but we want to let you know that he said it with the GGA, not with the hard R. Now, that is the argument he will use because he's good at making arguments. He'll say something, but then he'll throw it back to you and say, well, no, I didn't say that, I said that. But you should know what he tried to imply there because that's what they were talking about, using the hard R. So he wanted to give his opinion on it, but while giving his opinion on it, he used the GA, not the hard R. So he may have did that so he can find a way out of any type of backlash that may come from him using the hard R. That is just his strategy. That is who he is. He's a manipulator. Okay? Remember, he was the one that said this.
I ran many narratives that were filled with information and disinformation just to leave enough confusion to where people really had to draw what conclusion they felt was real.
That's right. He fed information and misinformation to leave enough confusion. I can't. Okay. So, but right there he's saying that he purposely gave y'all misinformation just to leave enough confusion for y'all. How can someone come to any conclusion, any sound and factual conclusion, if someone feeds you misinformation? The idea behind someone making a sound and factual conclusion is someone gives two sides of what they believe to be factual. But if you're going to inject purposely misinformation, you're setting up your fucking damn viewers. And he said enough confusion. So he purposely wanted to make you confused and mislead you. Need we say anymore? Alright, that's his whole MO. So just keep that in mind. But we had to put it out there as full disclosure because we're not here to try to manipulate anything. We want you to know that he used the GA, not the hard R. But we think that he knew what he was doing. Because he's a manipulative bitch like that. That's who he is. Okay, let's replay it and continue.
Yeah, here's the difference between me saying that, Rue. If I say fat up here, I'm also not saying it around a 4-year-old kid that I gave birth to.
You said fat. You said Nick.
Yeah.
What else you need to say?
I don't know. Rue's commanding me to say all these things, but the thing is, it doesn't work. It's not as effective because I'm not a parent and I'm not saying it around my kid.
Hold on. I'm a little confused now. Like, is it taboo for people to use the word nigger?
I guess.
Well, I mean, I mean, no, I'm not trying to like start no like crazy debate, but I mean, it would seem a little obscene to, you know, productively sell the language, you know, in every fucking CD that's fucking been produced since the 1990s, and then claim that it's, you know, suddenly an exclusive word.
So, at the end, what do you stand for? What are you going to stand up for? Okay? Just remember that. You, African Americans, in their eyes, are still lower. You cannot be saved simply because you're black. Simply because you're an African American. But to them, they can be. So that says a lot. That says a lot. So, you may be laughing on their panels, like Joe Cool, just like Mr. De Leon, the deadbeat bitch, surrounds himself. But at the end of the day, they see you lower than the LGBTQ community. They see you less than. Look at history. Look at what's going on. So anyway, this goes for anyone that's been oppressed in some shape or form. Remember, you are still with them. The only difference is that they are the flavor of the month. But if they all turned around and said, I found Jesus, I'm no longer going to do this, they will be openly accepted. But you will never be. You will never be. So when you're on that panel and you're hearing these motherfuckers talk about hateful shit against the LGBTQ community, you ask them, where's that same hate and rage when they kill an African American just to kill him? Where's that same rage? Where is the constant lies talking about inequality? Can't. They can't. Because they believe in it. They believe in it. So at the end, what do you believe in? Will you be an Uncle Tom? Or will you stand up for those that are being oppressed, bullied, and wanting to be eliminated? Now I'm going to leave it off here. The process of elimination for the LGBTQ community is different than the elimination process for the African American. Remember this. The elimination in the LGBTQ community means to stop their habits, to reform, to refrain from doing what they're doing, and you will be welcomed with open arms. Now, ask yourself, what can you change to stop your elimination?